Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader and in this video, let's take a look at the day finally came around. The day that every bull is having it in the back of his or her head, but it just comes out of nowhere and everyone is oblivious to this fact, but it's like a gut punch, right? So let's talk about in this video. We'll take a look at generally the market, that is S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100. I'll show you around a couple of stocks what they are doing. Detailed technical analysis would come out in later videos. Here I just want to, while the market is closing, just want to show you today what overall market is doing. We'll do the technicals definitely on Nasdaq 100, S&P 500, what to expect from here, and then individual some of the important stocks that I talk, especially with my members as well. They will, definitely talk with my members in coming days, that is today and over the weekend, but then also for the semiconductors and all and everything. You will see a video over the weekends as will come out, but in this video we'll keep it general and also we'll focus on SPY and Nasdaq 100 technicals and what to expect in the market going forward, right? So with that, none of this is any financial advice, only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. So we have that day today, guys. We have that day. Okay. Now, this is where, first of all, the technical structure, right? 750. That was the zone on S&P 500. Once we start to lose it, definitely it's a break of structure, and that's what it has given us. At this point, definitely market is in the pullback now. Okay, market is in the pullback, and that's what the expectation is going forward from here. Okay, Nasdaq 100 also has a broken structure. I'll talk more depth here in just a moment. I was first want to show you the market overall. Okay, Nasdaq 100 also has broken the structure. Cool off is expected in coming days, coming weeks. At this point, well, we may recover. Definitely Fridays are always, those one-offs that really there is, just complete slide. When that happens, it just happens. But we'll talk about, as I said, the technicals in just a moment. All right, let me show you around. First, Tesla, a full flush today. Okay, full flush here on Tesla. Microsoft also going down. I'll show you semiconductors here. Nvidia is also breaking a prominent structure. Definitely a video I'll be doing in coming days on this. AMD is also at this point starting a pullback. It's also really broken. Like overall, no matter what you pick, like Bitcoin, guys, Bitcoin, I have been telling my members what I expect from here on Bitcoin. So definitely you will check that out, details on my memberships, or if you are interested, please check that out. But Bitcoin is also at that very critical level. It technically hasn't lost it, the critical level, but it's right at that critical level. As things will happen here. Now what will happen, I have mentioned few things to my members. You will find those videos on my membership. But here we'll keep it short and simple, and that is, it's also going in the decline, but it's not. Again, there is a room in Bitcoin to give you upside. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so market just closed. Okay, market just closed now. S&P 500, let's get back over here. Let's talk the technicals, right? So we do have a break of the structure. Okay, now if I take you to the hourly interval, right, a SPY going down 20 points in a day is definitely you can't ignore. And this is where this zone, once we lost it, guys, okay, that zone that I actually gave this zone to my members for the overall structure. And whenever overall structure breaks, guys, we do have a huge move that comes, and that was today the sign, right? Losing this structure has put S&P 500 on the decline. Can a rebound happens? Of course, after such sell-offs, rebounds are likely. However, it's just going to be a rebound. Okay, it's not going to make it bullish. It's just going to be a rebound. and until 748 technically. Now that yellow zone above becomes our bearish zone. We continue to stay below that. If any upside comes, technically that will just be a rebound, so which means that upside has an horizon of just a day or so. You cannot turn that into a multi-day strength unless price action tells us so. But to start off with from here, if any bounce happens for coming days, that will most likely remain just a rebound, and we will stay in the negative structure on S&P 500 multi-day definitely. And also overall right now we do have a room to come a little bit more down. Now how low will we go? Well, technically we do have one level at 732, which I do think we will lose that. Look, 695. You may not like me saying this, but that's a likely possibility. Eventually, as if we don't turn around the overall structure, if we don't see a strength, if that comes, I'll talk about it. You know, these big indices also just don't collapse forever. They go, you know, a little bit, you know, bounce around, but at this point, this whole run up that SPY and Nasdaq has seen, it's on the back of semiconductors so far. Not Nvidia specifically, but like AMD contributed to that, right? ARM contributed to that so far, right? Broadcom. I gave you this short play yesterday, right? If you have seen my video, okay, I mentioned that, you know, this is below that is a short play. Broadcom has contributed so far to Nasdaq and S&P 500. Micron so far has contributed, right? SanDisk has contributed, but now the little bit steam is escaping. Okay, so yeah, it's a really bloodbath today in the market, except Netflix. Netflix somehow closed green for the day, which, okay, this tells you something, is that when overall market is selling off and one stock is holding, it's most likely at its bottom. But technicals on Netflix, I talked with my members, so again, you can check out the details of my memberships if you want to know. 25 plus stocks coverage, all right, overall picture that I provide to my members. So anyways, let's get back here to S&P 500 again, right? Why so? Well, we will get to Nasdaq 100 as well, but I want to get to S&P 500 again because I did notice that there is another significant level. Yes, even though below 750 will remain negative, 748 to 750, but there is also a significant level at 740 that we stay below that. That's your first level of already a possible rejection. Only above that is where I would say a rebound is possible. Again, it's not a bullish structure, it's just for a continuation of a day, possible rebound starting next week if that happens. But the weakness below that will stay, persist weakness below that will stay, and also below that 750 to 748 we will remain in the weakness. So you have to be careful here. Market is now in that possible decline. Okay, so this is where your, you know, utility REITs and all those other stuffs may start shining. But anyways, now let's get to Nasdaq 100. Okay, so Nasdaq 100 also has broken the structure that is 721 area, that zone. Also, it's a significant level zone, guys. So losing that is definitely a breakout structure. Again, Nasdaq 100 will very heavily be affected by the semiconductors here, right? And yeah, it's just gonna stay in the decline, guys, below yellow zone at this point. Like even in the post market, it's selling off. It's like a complete bleed today. There was not even a significant rebound. Like even Tesla, just complete like debacle today, right? Like Tesla technically is 6% down. If you look some semiconductors, they're 10, 12, 13, 11 negative percent down, right? So yeah, but Tesla's fall is always very dramatic, right? So coming back to Nasdaq 100, market expectation is that, guys, it's a, you know, gonna continue lower now. You know, strong job numbers came out again. It doesn't really matter, but the narrative is that interest rates most likely will stay higher. But guys, look, it doesn't matter, right? um, all this, although they can pick up any narrative, like technically, there is so much uncertainty still ongoing with the war, right? No deal. And on the heels of that, if market was going down, everyone in the media would be telling you, oh, because of the uncertainty of the war, and there is oil price going up and all. But because market was going up, then didn't talk about that stuff, because they cannot make a narrative, right? They cannot sell you the news, because how will they define the news? They'll logically, it would not make sense, right? So price action happens first, and then the news is made. Okay, you have to really do your own thinking here, otherwise you will be made fool by other people, in this case the news, right? So media, I should say, right? But the point is that mostly the media and the news will find something to attach that narrative when the price action has done its thing. Okay, so I'll tell you an example on Netflix. All the big players in the media were coming out, CNBC television and all, here telling that Netflix is the recession proof stock. It's gonna go forever up here. And what did Netflix do? Continue to go down. But if you remember, this was a short play below that. I mentioned the buy here to my members, and we made good money, a lot of money on Netflix, right? So don't listen to the news. They will make you buy at the top and sell you at the bottom. Okay, you have to learn how to trade. Okay, and I talk about all that good stuff with my members. You will have to join the membership for that. Nothing comes for free. Okay, you have to invest in yourself. Okay, so market doesn't look like that right now, that there is any strong upside. Definitely, like you can see SanDisk also right now. It has started. The trend has started. Now that money most likely will start to come out again if structure holds somehow on these semiconductors. I'll talk about that. If a video doesn't come out on my YouTube, I'll talk with my members. But if the structure holds, there is a possibility of bounces. But the way SPY and Nasdaq 100 is looking like, and that's why I wanted to start off this video talking about SPY and Nasdaq 100. The way S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 is looking, it's really hard looking at the technicals that we will see another new high coming soon. No, that's likelihood is very low right now. Okay, unless on Monday SPY gets above 753. Again, if that happens, yeah, then we are talking something else. But otherwise, no. Anything below like 741, 750 is just, anything would be just a rebound, and below that we will remain in the bearish structure. All right, guys, that's all I had for you in this video. These type of days happens. It's the nature of the market. Okay, so you have to understand and learn. That's why I always say in the extensions, take partial profits. When the multi-day weakness happens, take partial profits. Now you get my point, right? Why I always say take partial profits, take extensions, and get out when the structure breaks. Get my point, right? I know those points were not really sticking, right? When the market every day was going up, and you would be thinking, junior trader, why should I take profits in the extensions? Look at it. If I would have taken some profits here, I missed out on all these gains, right? Now, let me give you a perspective. If you didn't take partial profits here, you held this position for nothing for more than a month, and you are already negative, at least the profits that you would have taken. So it's all about being humble. Take whatever market gives you and be happy with that. Okay, so, and that's the whole point. You have to optimize your profits. You have to optimize your positions. Taking 10% out here, taking 10% out here from your whatever 100% of the position based off of when you build, right? For this technical trade, technically the trade started here, right? If you have been seeing my videos, that's where I called out we are starting a bullish run, right? So taking out 10% or 5% here still leaves you with 80% remaining position for next extension takeout, and or when multi-day structure breaks or overall structure starts to break. right? So you get my point, why it's so important to manage the position. That's all I had, guys. And with that, please hit the like and subscribe if you found it helpful and valuable. And with that, I'll see you in my next videos. Take care. Bye.